welcome to this final episode of Luke's Box Office on CUTV for this semester. And for our season finale this week, we have 4 movies. Lee Boyle will be here in a couple of seconds to do a review of the new 007 movie, Goldeneye, followed by Mike Daly with Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls. Then Peter Kiss with Casino, and finally I will have a retrospect on A Christmas Carol movies. But first, here's Lee. Lee.
The name is Bond. James Bond. Hey Peter, how you doing?
Peter?
Dope. I mean, Luke, how you doing?
Good.
Okay, this week I will talk about the movie Goldeneye, the new 007 movie starring Pierce Brosnan. As you know, Pierce Brosnan was supposed to be in the movie before Timothy Dalton, but Timothy Dalton replaced him because Pierce Brosnan couldn't get out of doing his TV show Remington Steele. But now, 2 movies later, he's back for Goldeneye. I'd like to start with an homage to the James Bond movies. This was the 17th or 18th of them. If there's 2 that I'm not sure you count, like Casino Royale, and there's this other one that came out in the 80s. That's I think it was a TV movie or something. But the superhero and super agent James Bond has been so popular since its first debut in 1962 with Sean Connery, and 18 movies later, his popularity still grows. Everyone loves James Bond. GoldenEye's story is about his longtime friend 006, who comes back after we think 006 has died. It starts like 9 years before, and now 006 suddenly, in a failed mission, disappears, and he's presumed dead. He comes back, and he has switched sides. He's with the Russians now, and he's planning this. He has created this big super satellite that destroys all the communication technology of where it is pointed. It's like a big mega bomb that destroys all the communication technology. And of course our hero, James Bond, is sent to stop him. But this time he has the moral dilemma of destroying his one-time true friend or saving the world. What do you think he does? He saves the world. The Bond girls this time are Isabella Scorupco and Famke Janssen, who you might have seen in Lords of Illusion. Probably not, but anyways. And this movie is entertaining, but not as good as the previous ones. I think James Bond in 1995 has become too politically correct. And I still had a problem with the bad ending, but my biggest deception is that little James Bond theme music, you know. It only played 3 or 4 times in the movie. Of course at the beginning and at the end and with this big tank chase right in the middle of the movie, but I liked it when they played every single second, there was something, some action plot or twist, they would play that little theme song, and I'm too used to it. There was too much other kind of music. It was good music, but it was a good score, but I'd rather the James Bond theme song. Still, despite that bad ending and the lack of little music, there was some great scenes like the beginning and the big tank chase through the streets of Russia, and that scene where Bond kind of has this love fight relationship. He kind of wrestles with the bad girl in the movie, Famke Janssen, I'm not sure what her name is, but it's something like that. They kind of get in this fight, and it's kind of sadomasochism at the same time as they're fighting and making out. I don't know, but it was very amusing. All I can say is the Bond myth lives on. I give this movie $4.99. I'd give it lower because it wasn't that good when you think about it, when you compare it to the other ones, but it's beyond me. I must give it at least the matinee price. Before, I'd like to end by giving you, the audience, some predictions for the Christmas movies coming up. Well, they're not really Christmas movies. The good ones coming out will be 4 Rooms. I'm not too sure when it's coming out. Heat with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. That's coming out at the beginning of December. And the best one, I think is going to be coming out during the holidays, From Dusk Till Dawn, written by Quentin Tarantino. How can you miss, eh? Also, if you're in the mood for something Christmassy, I guess, because it is Christmas, go see the Toy Story, the new computer graphic animated movie by Disney. It looks awesome. And if you want to really rent something about Christmas, rent the Santa Claus on video. It looks good. So this is Lee Boyle signing off and wishing you a jolly, jolly Christmas. See you next semester. Back to you, Luke.
You really think that James Bond only deserves $4.99? I mean, come on, it's James Bond, man. I mean, you have to go see James Bond. You have to go see that in the theater when on a big screen. If you see it like that, it's better. If you watch it on TV, like I'm used to doing with it, because Goldeneye was the first movie I went to see at the theater. First James Bond movie I went to see at the theater. I thought that it was an improvement. Yeah, I thought it was an improvement over what I saw on TV, because on a small screen it's kind of, you lose the impact. But
it was fun and highly entertaining, and I still recommend it. Although I've seen better for James Bond movies.
Yeah, of course.
That's for sure.
They've been there. All right. We'll be back after this.
I'm alive! I'm alive! Don't start what you can't finish!
That right there was a clip of Jim Carrey's new movie, Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls. And to do a review of that movie, we have a new reviewer here on Luke's Box Office, Mike Daly. Mike, welcome to Box Office.
Thanks a lot, Luke. Okay, Jim Carrey, what can you say? The guy's brilliant, he's a comic genius. This time, the rubber-faced, double-jointed comedian is in the sequel to Ace Ventura. It's called When Nature Calls. The plot in a nutshell is Ace is hired to find a missing white bat, which we don't find out what kind of animal it is until a little into the movie. A missing white bat that's been disappeared. We don't know if it's kidnapped, or they suspect that he's been kidnapped. So Ace is contacted to find this white bat. The white bat, the significance is that he's the sacred symbol of an African tribe. And the African tribe will go to war with a neighboring African tribe unless this white bat is found. So Ace is contacted. Now, it's very funny where he's contacted. He's off hiding in a Buddhist monastery to atone for the death of a raccoon that he couldn't save. So, there you go. Very funny. It's literally a laugh a second. Carrey's his gags, his physical humor. There's a lot of physical humor and a lot of body fluids, actually. A little too much at one point. There's some really cool in-references for those fans of the old Twilight Zone. Keep an eye out for a certain plane sequence. As well, Carrey does a couple of other really cool imitations. I won't give them away. You'll have to keep an eye out for them. There's a couple of really funny parts in the film. Like, for example, Ace, as we know, he loves all animals. But when he actually sees the white bat, he's grossed out and he's freaking out for the whole film. So that's kind of funny. Also, the way he reacts when he sees anyone cruel to animals is pretty hilarious. He really puts them in their place without giving too much away again. One tiny thing that bothered me: what is an Indian elephant doing in Africa? The movie's supposed to take place in Africa. Keep an eye out for that. It's a fun movie. What can I say? Don't look for anything complex. Don't look for a story. Don't look for anything except to spend 90 minutes laughing. That's about it. For that, I would, in terms of price, I would say $4.99. Go and see it at the matinee price, because it's not an $8 film. Definitely not. But it is fun, and for $4.99, you can't go wrong.
Okay, good.
Thanks a lot, Luke.
How does it compare to the first movie? Is it better or is it worse?
There's some aspects that are better. Of course, he's as good as in the first movie. The scenery is a lot better. It's beautiful scenery, lots of exotic animals, and more elaborate stunts. I should have mentioned that there's some really, really elaborate stunts and gags in it. Better, I wouldn't say better. I would say as good, definitely.
As good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. So that was Mike Daly with Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls. And now this.
Just getting a call from Nicky wasn't easy anymore. Even the codes didn't work, so we figured out another act. You see, if a phone's tapped, the feds can only listen in on the stuff involving crimes. So on routine calls, they have to click off after a few minutes.
Yeah, get a sprained elbow.
Yeah.
Meet me at 3.
What, Caesar's?
100 yards further down the road.
Why?
Don't ask questions, just be there. Don't ask questions.
Susie Cream Cheese has the exact same outfit.
I saw something for you, something very cute.
Fantastic.
All right, so doesn't that look great right there? That's the new Scorsese film Casino. And Peter Kiss is here to do a review of it, and then I'll be his Siskel to my Ebert. Except I'm gonna have to gain a lot of weight, and you're gonna have to lose some hair.
No, it's on contract.
Not on contract? Not too bad. So,
Well, Casino, yes. I recently checked it out last week, and I found it very, very close to the real thing. It's about the real thing. They tried to bring it close to the real thing, casino, about gambling, money, the mob. And they also put caring and love in there. They mixed it in there somewhere. Like De Niro, he tries to get married, which he does, and he tries to build up a family, which it doesn't work. And throughout the movie, he's the only one who really cares about the people around him. Everybody else just cares about the money. But at the end, everybody, more or less, perishes, except De Niro. And he ends up with his daughter, and everybody else perishes. So I give this movie an 8.
8.
Yes.
Well, that's, to be Siskel to your Ebert, I would have to, or Ebert to your Siskel, or whatever, I'd have to say that, yes, I agree with you. It is a very good movie in all respects. It's very well in keeping with the Scorsese style. If you've seen Goodfellas, you will probably like this movie. It's the same kind of movie. The plot is very, very well done, and the people are very believable. Pesci, De Niro are back with Scorsese, who were in Goodfellas and also in Raging Bull in 1980, and they all do a great performance. And also, Sharon Stone is in this movie, and she does a terrific job as De Niro's wife. So yes, it's a very good movie. I liked it.
But you see, the thing is that it's a 3-hour movie.
Yes.
Even though that they got to the actual plot, they never went away from it. You always had caring, love, but you also had the point of, standing their ground throughout the whole movie. So.
Cherish and love?
Well, you had that because De Niro wanted love. And then De Niro would have gave out his soul to his wife for love, but ended up holding the wrong end of the stick.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay, sure. Well, it's in keeping with the Scorsese style. He gives it $8. I don't give it 8. I can't give it $8 because it's too much like Goodfellas.
Why? Why can't you give it $8?
Because
why can't you give it $8? Tell me. Why can't you give it $8? Give me one good reason why.
Because it's too much in keeping with Goodfellas. If you watch this could be called Goodfellas Part 2. I mean, after a while, if you use the same style over and over again in each movie you do, the originality leaves. It's not original anymore. The story is great, the movie is great. I give it around $7.50, something like that. I need to.
But you can't give it that 8. You can't give it that extra 50 cents.
I can't give it that 8.
But why? You can't give me a good.
It has to be original. It is original. The movie is not original enough I mean, you take Goodfellas. You know, you have the Scorsese style. I mean, you have the guy, the lead character with the narration, right? Then you have then you have the big murders, the backstabbing. You have Joe Pesci. Sorry, Pesci. I should know this by now. You have Pesci. His character is very much in keeping with the one that he played in Goodfellas, except maybe not as whimsical, but it's still kind of the same character. It is a very good. It's 50. But that extra 50 cents, I would give it an extra 50 cents if it would.
You can't give that extra 50 cents for the love, the caring, the crying, and the understanding.
I didn't see that much love and caring in that movie. I saw people getting killed. I saw people getting.
De Niro was the only one in the whole movie that showed caring and understanding. But you messed with him. That was it. Look, you had the daughter in the movie.
He cared for his daughter.
Yes, he cared for his wife. He gave everything to his wife. He gave millions of dollars to his wife. He gave him the key to the safety deposit box. You can't give an extra 50 cents for that?
No. That's all in keeping. That's $7.50 right there. The extra 50 cents would have been if they would have made it different from.
Like, what would your point be different? Tell me. Like, if you'd go to see this movie, what would be different? Why would you give it an extra 50 cents? Because of the different plot, the different what?
If it was more, if the style was more original.
Okay, give me one.
Better originality.
Okay, give me
Scorsese,
1 point only.
There's so much that you can expect from Scorsese, and once you've learned everything that you can get from Scorsese, there's nothing else to get. This movie is good, but original. The style is not the original. That's why I'm not giving it $8.
I don't agree with you.
Well, and we will be back after this. And now it's time for the part of our show we like to call movies we would like to review when they came out, but we were probably too young to do so when they did, so we're going to do it now. And the movie we will be reviewing this time is a movie, it's a Christmas movie, and since this is a show that will be leading up to the Christmas season, I thought it would be a good idea to take a look at a Christmas story that has had more movie remakes than any other movie in film history. A Christmas Carol has had over 12 different theatrical versions, starting with very early silent films right up to the Muppets, and even this Christmas they're coming out yet with another version called Ellie, about a modern female Scrooge. On top of that, the story has been satirized on TV, there's been multiple TV movies, etc., etc. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about the 4 movies that I think are the best, and I'm going to narrow them down to 2 of them, and finally I'm going to tell you the one I like the most and why. Now, for years, the 1951 version starring Alistair Sim was known as the definite screen Scrooge because it told the story as accurately as possible without altering it. Then, in 1970, the producers of Dickens' award-winning movie, Oliver, made a musical version of A Christmas Carol that was pretty good, but failed to top the 1951 version because the story was altered to fit the music and the songs were pretty much forgettable. Then in 1977, Henry Winkler starred as Ben Slade in An American Christmas Carol, a Christmas Carol movie set in the United States during the Great Depression. The story was well told, but was completely rewritten to fit the 1930s American set. Finally, in 1984, ITC Entertainment, along with IBM and CBS Television, decided to release yet a new version of A Christmas Carol, starring George C. Scott as Ebenezer Scrooge. This version topped the 1951 version and has since created a rivalry with the 1951 version as which one is the best. Although the 2 versions are basically the same, there are some differences worth mentioning. More specifically, the characters. The characters change from one version to the next. Scrooge in the 1984 version is much stronger and stubborn. He does not accept that he has been wrong as fast as the 1951 Scrooge. Scrooge as George C. Scott as Scrooge takes a thoroughly naturalistic approach to the role. Consequently, we get exactly the Scrooge that Dickens thought of. The one he intended as a spur of our charitable conscience. That is not an insanely dismissed miser cut from a cardboard morality tale like the 1951 Scrooge, but a sternly reputable man of affairs who had sacrificed fellow feelings for fiscal responsibility. Scrooge's clerk, or clack, well, I like to call him in the movies, Cratchit seems less afraid of Scrooge in the 1984 version than in the 1951 version. In a scene, Cratchit starts clapping after Fred has finished telling Scrooge what Christmas is all about. In another scene, when Cratchit wishes Scrooge a Merry Christmas, Scrooge replies by a humbug, and Cratchit smiles. This tells us that even though Cratchit is aware of Scrooge's principles, he is not afraid of expressing his opinion. And when Scrooge replies by a humbug, Cratchit kind of feels sorry for him. In the 1951 version, Cratchit is not as brave. He makes sure to keep out of Scrooge's way when he is not needed. Marley's ghost is greatly played by Frank Finley in the 1984 version. We feel his anger when he talks. He is angry and really regrets what he did to deserve his fate. The chains that he wears looks very heavy and hard to drag around. Also, the makeup is greatly done. The greenish color of his skin and clothing remarkably makes him look dead. The 1951 version of Marley's ghost, however, is also well played, but this time he looks more sad and tired than angry. The bed of chains that he carries do not look that heavy. They look more bothersome than painful. There is little makeup that makes him look like he's a ghost. Instead, a transparent body effect is used. Tiny Tim in the 1951 version is not that tiny. In fact, he is pretty tall. He is about the same size as his mother. Also, he looks much too healthy to be a guy who is dying. The 1984 Tiny Tim is actually tiny. He is wonderfully played by a newcomer at the time, Anthony Walters. He does not look as strong as the 1951 Tiny Tim, and we do see that he dreams of being cured, something we don't see much in the prior movie. The Ghost of Christmas Present is much more aggressive in the 1984 version. At the same time, he looks like the kind of person that you wouldn't mind having as a friend. When Scrooge says a stupid remark, the ghost tells him off right away, but he also gives him advice. The 1951 Christmas Present seems to sleep through the part. When he talks with Scrooge, he does so in a very calm voice and is never angry or aggressive. It is a surprise that Scrooge gets anything out of what he is saying. For my part, I like the 1984 version better, because the actors are more believable than its predecessor. And even though there is less emphasis on the storyline, the story is told well enough to understand it. And that's it for our first season of Luke's Box Office here on CUTV. I'd like to thank everybody that participated on this show this semester, starting with Lee Boyle, who's been here since the very first episode. Also, Peter Kiss, who's been behind camera for most of the episodes and also did a few reviews. Mike Daly, who joined the crew today, but he did at least one review, so that's cool. Also, Scott Preston, Matthew Binks. Behind the camera, on location, we had James LaRochelle, who's also the program director of CUTV. I'd like to thank everybody at CUTV for allowing me to do this show, and we'll see you next semester for another edition of Luke's Box Office. Until then, the office is closed.
And we'd like to wish you happy holidays!